Hello, princesses, and welcome back to Not Fit for Print Beauty with me, Rebecca. I hope you saw a few days ago I rounded up all of the foundations that I have, which is most of them, I think, that were released in the year 2022. And we had over 40. That was with no primers, no concealers, nothing, just absolute foundations. And I promised you that that was just taking stock of what we had and that I would, branch out into other smaller videos that tackled a little bit less subject matter. And today we're going to look at 2022's sheer face tints. So the sheerest foundations, the lightest coverage for your light coverage days. But I put 2022 and beyond. Let me explain why. Though I do want to concentrate, and this video does concentrate mostly on the really good sheer face tints that came out this year, I do realize that when you go to a department store or a Sephora or wherever you shop, nobody says something like, I need a really flattering, good face tint, and it must have been released in the last 4 or 5 months. Nobody does that. So we needed to give ourselves a little bit of perspective by putting in some gems that have been previously released. So we're going to do a little bit of a mix, but since this is a year-end video, most will be about the year 2022. Let me give you some runners-up before we get to my top 5. I have really given this some thought, and 3 of my 5 are from this year. So they do make up the majority of it. We had so many releases and there were so many good ones. Here's what I wanted to put in and didn't. I'm wearing this right now. Did anybody try the Dr. Jart BB Premium Beauty Balm? This is a 2022 release. Can't put it on there because I've literally tried it for the first time ever right now, and it's super pretty. I like the shade I got. Really natural, kind of matte finish. Seems to be a really pretty product. It's got an SPF 40 in it, which I'll explain in a minute. Probably wouldn't have made my list. I tried to pick things without SPF. But anyway, it appears to be a really good little product. Haven't played with it enough. Can't rank it. I just wanted you to know. That's why I didn't make it. I love the Kjaer Weis, the Beautiful tint. Absolutely love. That's a 2022 sheer tint. Didn't put it in there because it has a scent. I tried not to include anything with fragrance for those of you who are allergy or migraine sufferers. So that's why it did not make my top 5. It has a beautiful hazelnut scent to it. I absolutely adore it. Some of you might not, so I took it out. I used there was an axe used to cut this down to 5, let me tell you. I could have had 20. I love sheer face tints. Here is a Glowish from Huda Beauty. I believe this is a 2021 product. Beautiful sheer face tint. Very luminous, very shiny. If you have an oilier complexion or you don't want to look like a beacon shining from the moon, you wouldn't like it. So I took it out. But it is a nice product. So why are you mentioning it, Rebecca? The runners-up deserve to be mentioned. They're nice products. Iconic London, I talked about this in my roundup of over 40 foundation products. A beautiful product, darn near perfect, except after 4 or 5 hours, there's no trace of it on your face. So if you're going to work or if you're going out for a long day, it's just not going to do you any good. So I had to take it out of the list. But if you have need for something that's just going to look real pretty for a few hours, this would be a real good one. This was my number 1, and I had to take it out, and I'll tell you why. I put the Tarte Hydro Flex as the C, from their C collection, SEA. This wasn't my number 1, and I had to remove it at the last minute. It has medium coverage. This is not a sheer face tint. I kind of never realized that. This is a tremendously good product, and it's housed in a squeezy bottle, like a sheer tint would be. But, the way they package things doesn't really matter anymore. This is a beautiful product. Tarte makes amazing foundation and complexion products. It's affordable. It's lovely. I will link it below. You should definitely try it if you're looking for light medium coverage, but it bills itself as medium. That's not a sheer face tint. I had to take it out. It hurt, but I had to take it out. And last but not least, I would have loved to have put the Rose Ink and the new Chanel Complexion Touch in there. These are medium coverage though. See, the Chanel Le Beige Water Tint that preceded this from a few seasons ago, that could have gone on the list. That's actually not enough coverage. That's beyond sheer, so that didn't make it. Even though I am looking at some products from a few years ago, that one actually didn't make it. That's almost too sheer. And this one is absolutely lovely. The Complexion Touch is absolutely lovely, but it's a little too much. It kind of goes to medium. Same with the Rose Ink. Absolutely beautiful. and it is called, you got to be careful of the names. You know, it's like that. I mentioned in my roundup of the over 40, we have the Patrick Star One Size, and it calls itself like a beauty balm. And I'm like, this is a full coverage foundation. This is not a beauty balm. So, you know, sometimes this one calls itself a serum foundation. It's a little bit more coverage, but it's beautiful. So these are all the ones I would have wanted to include if I could have. Let's get to my top 5. 3 from 2022, 2 from previous years. Here was my categorization. If it had a fragrance, it knocked it out. That's why my beloved Kjaer Weis is gone. And that's why, you know, generally you wouldn't have anything from Chanel. Usually those have a scent. I also looked for something with either no SPF, because I hate that. Get your SPF out. Let me put my own SPF on. I don't need your help. Some of these do have it, but it's a very low SPF. I don't want it in there. It tends to make me break out. I couldn't avoid it with all of these, but I sure tried. And certainly my top 1 and 2 do not have SPF or fragrance. And I chose something that bills itself as an absolutely sheer light to very light to light, not even light medium, but buildable sheer coverage. Those were the rules. That's what I stuck to. Let's do number 5 through number 1. Number 5, this was a 2022 product. This is the Shiseido Synchro Skin Self-Refreshing Tint. This is the little sister to the foundation that was released, quite a few years back. This is a beautiful product. It's got no scent. It's got a natural finish. I love a natural finish with a skin tint, because that's why the Huda didn't make it. Don't get too glowy, because then it starts interfering with whatever you want to put on top. When we wear a sheer skin tint, the whole idea is that it looked natural. That's why this made it. Why is it number 5 then? Because it does have an SPF 20. I just couldn't find enough of these products that did not have SPF, and this one has the most. So it pushed it down to number 5. I would have preferred it have no SPF at all. It's a beautiful product, long-lasting, super flattering, doesn't settle into lines. You might really enjoy this one if you're looking for a skin tint. Any of the runner-ups I mentioned too, you might want to give a chance to as well. The Shiseido is $43. I wanted something a little bit more affordable as well. So that's why it's in number 5. Number 4, talk about affordable. Of all the releases in 2022, this is a real good one, and it is the Rare Skin Tint. This is $29. Talk about affordable. Comes in 24 shades, has no scent, unfortunately, and SPF 20, and it claims to have a radiant finish. I feel it has a natural finish. This is really pretty, goes on smoothly, doesn't sink into fine lines, super affordable, easy to use, serum-like. These all have, you know, normally over a year ago I would have been going on and on about how they have hyaluronic acid and niacinamide. That is kind of to be expected really across the board. And all of these, I'm not really mentioning it, they all have skin-loving skincare ingredients. This Rare Beauty for $29 is quite a good buy. I recommend it as my number 4, and it is a 2022 product. Number 3 is not a 2022. This is a 2021 product. Number 3 is, do you remember this? The Estee Lauder Double Wear Sheer. This is an SPF 19. That's why it couldn't have been in my top 2. It has no fragrance, comes in 20 shades, and is a matte finish. I prefer a natural finish. This one claims itself to be matte. I think it's a little bit more natural, though. It has nothing to do with Estee Lauder Double Wear. They're super, super famous, high coverage, full coverage, I should say, foundation. I think they just called it that so that fans of it would be interested. Brand within a brand, like Charlotte Tilbury with Pillow Talk. It really doesn't remind me anything to do with Double Wear, but it's a beautiful, very sheer skin tint foundation, and I think you would like it very, very much. It is my number 3. Number 2 is my other product from, this might be 2020, I think even, or 2019. It's a beautiful product. Do you remember this one? This is the Kevyn Aqua Stripped Nude Skin Tint. It is $42. It's number 2. No SPF, no fragrance, 10 shades, natural finish. Has everything I could want. Now you're going to say only 10 shades. Rebecca, get out of here with that. We need more inclusivity. Totally understood. However, the 10 shades here really, really work because they're super, I mean, one shade can do about maybe even 4 skin tones. So it's really more like 35 or so shades to have 10. This is a beautiful product. It is literally was released years ago. It is still being sold. The Kevyn Aqua Stripped Nude Skin Tint for $42 is a beautiful skin tint if you are looking for one. And this brings us all the way to number one. I did give the number one position to a 2022 release, and it surprised me that this little skin tint from this little brand had everything. No SPF. The 10 shades, again, really stretchy shades, so really more like 30, you know, but in 10. No fragrance and that natural finish I wanted, and a fairly good price, $42. We are talking high-end luxury beauty, so it doesn't break the bank. It had it all, and it wears well, and it wears for a long time. Does anyone want to guess? If you can, if you're playing along at home, take a second right now, just kind of pause it and go down and comment which one you think won. It is a 2022 release, and I didn't even think so, but it really matches everything. It really is the best skin tint released this year and in the past few years. Are you ready? I'm going to surprise you here. It is the Summer Fridays Sheer Skin Tint. Summer Fridays, a little brand. They really have a darn good skin tint. I think most reviews agree with me, and most people do as well. If you haven't tried this one and you're looking for a skin tint, if you're like me and you don't like fragrance, and you don't like SPF, and you like it to last a long time, be nice and sheer, not sink into lines, this is an absolutely beautiful one. So again, number one recommendation is Summer Fridays. Number two, it's an oldie bitty goodie, the Kevyn Aqua Strip Nude Skin Tint. Number three, the Estee Lauder Double Wear Sheer. Number four, Rare Beauty Skin Tint. And number five, the Shiseido Synchro Skin Self-Refreshing Tint. That is my number. Those are my top five. All the other ones I mentioned at the beginning are tremendous. Now this is, again, what makes us a community, is I would love for you to go below and weigh in on what you think I heinously left out. La Mer has a really good skin tint. I didn't put it in here. It's true. Some might say that the Chanel La Beige Water Fresh Original should have gone in there. I actually think that's not enough coverage. It's too watery. So, you know, tell me what you think should have made my top five. Give me your top five. Weigh heavily on to 2022, because that is kind of our year-end look at. That's why I made three of these 2022, but I think Summer Fridays really is quite the winner. Notice I did not have the Westman Atelier in here. Don't like it. It has oil, and I just personally don't like that. And it has to be my personal opinion here. And of course, I don't have the Jaclyn Hill. I thought it was terrible. I don't have the Caliray. I thought it was terrible. I also don't include the Fenty Eavesdrops. I've made peace with the Fenty Eavesdrops from 2021, but not enough to make them in my top five, or even really the top 11 or so that I have up here. If you like a good hazelnut scent, the Kjaer Weis is really good, probably my favorite. It's just a little more pricey, and it has that scent to it. Enjoying this Dr. Jart. I got all of these. All 11 that I mentioned here, or 12 actually, I think, I will have listed below so that you can find them at a retailer near you. But I would love to know what your thoughts are. Those are skin tints. I love a skin tint more than anything in the world, and I always joke that I probably should take a hint, because when I wear fuller coverage, I get more compliments. So maybe I should take a hint, but my favorite is always to let my skin breathe and show through. So this was an exciting video for me to make, and I really do like the Summer Fridays products, but I was quite surprised that it really met every single criteria. All right, so now let me know yours down below. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. I sure hope that you did. If you haven't already done so, make sure that you subscribe to this channel so we can keep on growing. You know, you have until December 21st of 2022 to weigh in on my community best of 2022 beauty. I will link that video below. It has all the instructions, and if you haven't weighed in yet, I would love to count your vote. Every vote really does count. Come and say hello over on Instagram and TikTok too. And I would love to thank everybody who has become a member of this channel. You get all sorts of good behind the scenes stuff and member lives. And I would love to thank everyone who has donated via Super Thanks. Helps keeps the lights on around here, and I'm super appreciative. But I love all of you, and it's been a good year. We have a lovely community, and I'm so proud and so happy to have all of you here at whatever level you choose to participate. And I will see you all, I hope, in the next video. Bye-bye.